Knit machines can be such a fun way to test out new yarn types, color combinations, and add different textures to your designs. But trying to do this without any guidance can be overwhelming to say the least. Today, I'm going to take you along as I set up my knit machine and then give you a short tutorial on how to knit your first swatch. For reference, my knit machine is the Brother KH881 domestic flatbed knit machine. To start, you'll find where the two clamps attach and align them with the edge of the table. You can then unclasp the hooks and remove the top half of the knit machine. There are two clamps, one for either side, that slide in and tighten. In the other half of your knit machine, you will find your yarn guides. To attach the carriage to your machine, you will match up this notch to the back bar here. Next, to attach your yarn feeder, you will attach it and tighten the knobs. This should be able to move smoothly. The next yarn guide will come folded up and will need to be unfolded. Each piece snaps into place. The bottom of this will attach to your knit machine. Some other essential tools you'll need are a cast on comb, some transfer tools, and a couple of weights. To thread your machine, you'll first go through the back loop, over the tension knot, and through the front. Lastly, you'll pick it up through the wire at the top. This will give your yarn tension to be pulled tight so you don't get any loose knots. If your yarn isn't in use, you can suspend it on the hook. Once your machine is set up and threaded, you're ready to begin your first swatch. I recommend starting with about 20 needles and starting with an E-wrap cast on. To do an E-wrap cast on, you'll want at least double the length of your project, if not a little more. You'll begin on the left side of your needle, wrapping it under, up and around. You'll continue to the next needle over, under, up, and around. And you'll work your way across all 20 needles. You don't want to pull too tight because the needles won't be able to slip through. You can attach a clip like a binder clip or a clothespin just to add a little tension to the end there. Once you've cast it on, you'll need to put your yarn through your carriage. To do this, you'll open the first lever, slide your yarn in, and lock it in place. For your first swatch, you can ignore most of the buttons and levers on your machine, except your tension dial here is pretty important. Your tension dial will determine how loose or tightly knit together your swatch will be. If you're testing out a new yarn, I recommend always starting with the highest tension, just so you are sure you won't run into any problems trying to knit with a tension that's too tight. Next, you will hang your cast on comb. I pull this yarn to the front just so it doesn't get looped around the entire comb. And you'll have a little bit of pressure and you'll knit the first row. LOL, still happened. Anyways, after my first row, I'll push out all of my needles just to make sure that they all got cast on properly. Now I can see that this tension is kind of loose, so I'll lower it. Once you've knit a couple rows, feel free to remove the cast on and instead attach some weights. This is just knitting a plain stockinette stitch, but you can play around with your tension. To get some pretty cool effects. Once I'm ready to cast off, I'll remove my weights and grab my transfer tool. To cast off, I like to pick up one stitch by pulling the needle out and pushing it back in, lifting it up and over to the next one, pulling it out, and then hand knitting this one stitch. To do that, you wrap the yarn over across the top of the latch hook and pull that stitch through. The rest just repeats down one more time. You pull the needle out, lift it off of this first needle onto the second one, pull the second one out, wrap the yarn, and push the needle back in. It helps to keep the yarn around the gate pegs up at the front because it will help keep your tension even across all of the stitches. This is a little closer view. Last stitch. Once I get to the last stitch, I will knit one extra and then break or cut my yarn. And I pull this yarn through to secure the stitch. And then the best part is taking it off the machine. And there you have your first machine knit swatch. And you can see, even just playing around with the tension in plain stockinette, you get some pretty cool looking stuff. I can see that I have a tucked stitch here from when one of my needles got caught. Next time I'll just have to pay a little more attention. Here's the back. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. Please leave any questions you might have in the comments. I was lucky enough to learn the basics of this machine my last semester in college. Shout out Professor Gemma Marsh. And this guidance was crucial to my understanding of this knit machine. These things can be nearly impossible to figure out by yourself, especially since many of these machines are bought secondhand. So again, please let me know if you have any questions. I hope this was helpful. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.